When World War II ended in 1945, life began to return to normal. Soldiers came home, the economy boomed, and the U.S. found itself as the most powerful nation in the world. Many Americans looked forward to the opportunities available in post-war America, but others returned to pre-war segregation and limited job prospects. How did Americans deal with these changes? The entry of the U.S. into World War II set off a chain reaction affecting almost everyone. More than 16 million Americans entered the military and were sent around the world. They returned home to benefits like the GI Bill, which helped veterans by offering them home loans and subsidized education. American industry stopped producing war goods and shifted to consumer goods. Improvements in transportation and new job opportunities meant that more Americans were able to move from farms to cities, and from cities to suburbs, where millions of new homes were being built. The end of the war also marked the beginning of the end of colonialism by Western European nations. The United States and the Soviet Union had emerged from the war as the dominant world powers. These superpowers immediately disagreed about the future of Eastern Europe, which led to the Cold War. The America that emerged from World War II regarded itself as peaceful, democratic, and tolerant. Isolationism gave way to a global view of the world. The political and economic health of the United States now relied on a policy of world security. To help stabilize the global economy, the U.S. was instrumental in the creation of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. The U.S. also helped form the United Nations as a means of solving international disputes and providing aid during conflicts and natural disasters. One of the first achievements of the UN was the creation of the State of Israel. For many Americans, the war had brought something entirely new to the country: opportunity. Minorities and women had found new job opportunities when soldiers left their jobs. Women, in particular, had learned skills traditionally reserved for men. When the war ended, most women gave up their new jobs and returned to lives as homemakers. African Americans and Hispanics, meanwhile, were expected to return to a segregated society. It didn't quite work out that way, though. Many African Americans and Hispanics came to see their service in World War II as the beginning of the fight for civil rights in America. Finally, in 1948, President Truman ordered the end to segregation in the U.S. Armed Forces. Many women couldn't forget the freedom and successes during the war years as well. Their efforts would bring about enormous changes to society in the decades that followed. Most Americans returned home after the war to new opportunities, but that wasn't true for everyone. How would you have handled the transition after the war for minorities and women?